You want the lights to take 15 minutes each to put up. I'll take 15 minutes per light then. A few years ago I was electrical apprentice in California. We had one foreman who was a particular kind of anal. If he wanted you to use a push broom go sweep a room, you had to do it in big strokes, not small ones. So one day he comes to me and my journeyman and he goes, I need you to put in T1000s in all these rooms. It should take 15 minutes per light. That's what the box says, so this will keep you busy for the day. We get to putting the lights up and find that even I in my first year can install these things in like 7 or 9 minutes. So we knock out like 5 or 6 each in the first hour. The foreman comes by and screams, "Foreman, WTF, I told you it should take 15 minutes per light." Journeyman: well, they were really simple, so we were able to get them knocked out pretty quick so far. Foreman: no, I want it to take 15 minutes per light, no excuses. I promise you, he said that verbatim. So he storms off. My journeyman looks at me and goes, "Well, back to work then." Then about 5 minutes later he finishes his light. I finished mine a few seconds later. And he goes, "Okay, timer still has 9.5 minutes, so we're just gonna chill for 9.5 minutes. We did this all the way till lunch came rolling around. The superintendent swung by to check on our HE job site and we're just sitting there talking about sports. Guy comes up looking confused and mad as all hell. Superintendent: why the fuck are you sitting around and not working? Quote. Journeyman: well, the foreman told us it should take 15 minutes per light and that we needed to take 15 minutes per light. So we knock out our light, wait for the timer to run out and then start the next one. Superintendent: oh, what the fuck? Sorry guys, when you come back from lunch just knock them out as you would normally. IDK, why he wanted it this way, but I'll fix it. The foreman got chewed the fuck out for it, and I learned a great lesson in malicious compliance that day. Edit. For clarification, yes, working too fast can be detrimental to a job. But this was 2016 Hayward, San Jose, California projects. Our specific company had multiple bid projects set for that summer and next. So while yes, this could have put people out of work yada yada, in this situation there was more than enough work and we could not get them done quick enough given they were considering working 5x10s for a few weeks. Wonder WTF he was thinking. Good for you though. Good superintendent. Smart enough to find out one of his foremen is not all he should be. IDK, why he wanted it this way? Bullshit. He knew exactly what the guy was doing and why. Shit like this is why I love being a contractor. Get the job done properly and go home. In union shops, many jobs have fixed ratings for units per hour. They don't want you doing things faster. I got in big trouble from everyone when I was flying through making parts on a turret lathe. They said the job would be re-rated and become a difficult job. Which is what happened to some of the other jobs that were hard to meet the parts count. They rotated people around so that everyone would have a turn at the hard jobs. And then they'd cycle you into the easy one. I'm doing PVC pipes for a project right now. Running lightning grounds and whatnot. I worked too fast last week and we had to wait for the plumbers to finish up before we could proceed. So they put me on another project until I could return. Now I'm back and I'm getting stuff done so fast the boss had me wait out the last 2 hours of the day so I could get paid. Sometimes it's not worth it to work too fast with construction, since you'll sometimes have to wait for an inspector to come round. Either that or you're waiting for someone else to finish up their work. Sounds like the foreman as an old salt from the union. Reminds me of Scotty advising LaForgue, You didn't tell him how long it would really take, did ya? Oh laddie. You have a lot to learn if you want people to think of you as a miracle worker. Quote. Had the same thing happen at my first job. We had to move a ton of full drywall sheets down the stairs in this house to the basement. Basically required us to Tetris them down because they barely fit. After about 10 minutes we got about 2 down. Boss saw how long it was taking us and left for another job site, and said he would be back in 4 hours when we got everything into the job site. Shortly after he left, we found a much easier way to get them in and got in the zone. An hour later they were all down. He pocket dialed us from a bar and was hitting on the waitress halfway through. We took an extra long lunch, played some pool and went and got some cigars and candy. When we heard his truck showing up, we started taking the last sheet down. I mean, really the issue shouldn't be that being efficient at your work costs other people their jobs. It should be that if you can get your 8H work done in 6H, you should be allowed to go the fuck home, while those people still keep their jobs. There's nothing I hate more than having to eke work out or find bullshit tasks to stay busy. I don't hate work so much as I hate any time that's not my own. I'd rather do some hard work and go home early and have my time back. It's besides the point, but long strokes on the push broom create less dust in the air. But yes, sometimes smaller strokes are the only way to actually move stubborn materials. Put in T1000s. You installed Schwarzeneggers into all those rooms? In under 15 minutes? Edit. I confused the Terminator models. But still, it's quite impressive. Even Arnold took a whole movie to get rid of one, you know. I got pulled off the shop floor when it was slow to export CAD drawings from the engineers computer to a web searchable system so everybody could look up prints as needed. They timed the old-ass engineer, multiplied that times the number of prints, and used that as an estimate for how many days it would take. I spent the next 2 weeks mainly just fucking around on the computer in an empty office because the old dude would use the mouse and menus to do every operation when you could do everything from the keyboard. It was basically open menu, down arrow, copy file name, hit return to open the file, select all, export, alt tab, open, paste file name, return, alt tab, repeat. I probably could have automated it, but I didn't want all the files to be created on the same day. Beat the hell out of a temporary layoff. I'm a retired heavy equipment field mechanic. Cummins used to pay like 4 hours to change a certain fuel injection pump. I found out that if I twisted it 45 degrees I could remove it without removing a bunch of other stuff. I could change it in 45 minutes. I tried to show the factory representative and he said, and this is the way the factory wants it done. I made good money by doing it my way. Well, thing is, if you get that 15 minutes light done in 5 minutes, the next contract you get will only allot 5 minutes per light. Then if you say a light will take 10 minutes, higher ups will ask why when the other lights only took 5. And set a deadline. They allot 5 minutes per light and you run into issues, causing the lights to take longer. And they blame your boss and look down on you when the job isn't done in time, even though they allowed no wiggle room. Or maybe this is unique to public sector. IDK. I think the foreman could be the underappreciated character in this story. There are a lot of reasons why one may want to slow work down that a person who doesn't have to manage people may not immediately understand. I wouldn't have sat there twiddling my thumbs while I waited to put another light up. I would have tried to find a way to make myself look busy until I started the next one. Sure, this may seem like a clear cut of MP, but it can also be looked at as an employee who just doesn't like his boss, and is retaliating against him. Also, I would tend to think that sweeping in long strokes would help in minimizing the amount of dust created when compared to using short, fast strokes. Probably because they build out all those lights for 15 meters, and if you bang them all out in way under that, GC is gonna be pissed and say they were overbilled. Giant rookie mistake standing around and getting caught too. Always keep busy. Even bigger mistake telling the super why you were standing around. I'm a journeyman electrician, and sometimes things just have to take longer for dumb reasons. Just like how other times it needs to be done RFN even though it's unreasonable. It sounds like Foreman was billing for your guy's time and wanted to inflate the time so that he'd get more money for the job. Since the box said how long it should take. If anyone complained, he could point at the box and say, "The box says it takes 15 minutes per light. We spent 15 minutes per light. What's your problem?" Quote. A part of me kinda wonders if it's a Montgomery Scott type of thing. I vaguely recall advice that he gave to Geordie LaForge about how long it should take to complete some specific task. And after he answered, he asked how long it really took. Geordie responded the same. So, Scotty gave him advice to always pad things. So when something needs to urgently be done, you can then be a miracle worker. It's from the Star Trek The Next Generation episode called Relics, I believe. Even bearing in mind that a crew could get ahead of themselves, it's still not a bad idea to block out sets of tasks. Eliminate them aggressively. And then take a step back and assess the site. Rinse and repeat. Intentionally dragging ass is bad on the morale. IDC who you are. You'll become patterned to it if forced to be that way for too long. Controlled blocks with assessment periods beats intentional ass dragging any day. Great story. Howdy from nearby Bay Area town.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.